Good morning. I'm Jack Ladd. My son John and I welcome you to the San Jose Ranch. We're located right along the Mexican border between Naco and the San Pedro Riparian National Conservation Area, normally called Sprinka. Our family has been around here for quite a while. We were here initially in 1896. I want to tell you today about a project sponsored by the Hereford Natural Resource Conservation District that has potential to accomplish a number of worthwhile things. We call this the Horseshoe Draw Project. For the most part, Horseshoe Draw is wide, gently sloping, and covered with a dense growth of grass. However, at the point where we are right now, it begins to narrow and it suffers serious erosion. We see here the head cut, which rapidly deepens and continues on for 2.5 more miles to the San Pedro River. Over the years, different owners of this property have tried to remedy this cutting, but nothing has succeeded. The reason is the contributing drainage area to Horseshoe Draw is estimated at 9,000 acres. Thus, even a moderate rain shower can generate a heavy runoff, and a severe rain shower generates such a huge flood going down the draw on the way to the river that it just wipes out any dams or levees in its path. The answer to this situation is to reduce the runoff from a violent flood to a manageable flow by the use of a detention structure. A detention structure that we have in mind is simply a barrier or a berm placed at a location that would allow for the temporary containment of a large volume of runoff while allowing a reduced flow to continue on downstream. Two such structures were constructed on this ranch by the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1932. They have functioned as designed for 80 years with little or no maintenance. Right now we're looking at an earthen berm spanning a draw. It is about 400 feet long and 20 feet high. At its bottom is a 30-inch metal culvert which extends all the way through. The upstream end of the culvert has a concrete facing to protect it. Now looking downstream, we're up on top of the berm now. The topography is relatively unchanged since the installation. In stark contrast, upstream from the berm, the draw is filled in and supports abundant vegetation. When a heavy flood coming down the draw encounters the berm, only the small portion of it which is able to pass through the culvert continues downstream. Prior to the installation of this structure, corrals and a well at the headquarters downstream, as well as pasture land, had sustained substantial damage from the uncontrolled flooding. Now the reduced flow on its journey into Greenbush Draw and thence to the river irrigates a 40-acre pasture. This structure and its companion structure, this dam, this berm that we're standing on, work extremely well and have certainly withstood the test of time. Okay, back to Horseshoe Draw. Several months ago, a project engineer from Phoenix-based Hilgard Wilson visited Horseshoe Draw and has provided the Hereford NRCD a proposal to draft a design concept report or study for the project. His initial feeling is that a structure similar to that which we have just viewed is feasible. Needless to say, it would be considerably larger due to the larger drainage area. A study is necessary for a number of things, including hydrologic factors, sediment transport analyses, permitting, and location. At this potential site where we're standing, A berm would have to be approximately a quarter of a mile long and 20 feet high. Other locations upstream will be evaluated by the study. Again, this would be a detention structure as opposed to a retention structure. In other words, we're not going to contain the water and hold it until it evaporates. The impounded runoff would be allowed to continue downstream, but at a reduced flow by way of culverts through the berm. With the reduced flow, it will be possible to construct dikes and berms downstream that heretofore were impossible to maintain. Now, what do we expect to accomplish with this project? We can expect to attain 4 major benefits. 1, reduction and healing of erosion. 2, increased recharge into the aquifer. 3, reduced sediment flow into the San Pedro River. And 4, reduced flood peaks to allow travel on a road providing the sole access from Highway 92 to residents' homes in this area. Now, even though the project could be termed shovel-ready, it cannot proceed until the study is made. The best estimate of the cost of the study is $90,000. Although the project would be a boon to the Sprinka and the surrounding area, neither the Hereford NRCD nor the LADS can provide such funding other than in-kind labor. In other words, we're looking for help.